Good night.
The last week has been pretty wintry here. It was very cold and almost didn't stop raining, giving me every excuse and perfect conditions to stay indoors. I really enjoyed being at home, fluffing my nest and making everything feel extra cozy. Welcome and welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Moran. I'm a maker and homebody from Israel, finding ways to stay grounded and creative through these challenging times. We've been wanting to replace our living room sofas for a while. The ones we have are pretty old, worn out, and definitely past their best days. But finding the right replacements wasn't easy. Eyal and I are both pretty picky. We wanted to find something that met our taste without being too expensive. At some point, we almost gave up, but after a few recommendations, we decided to check out IKEA. We started with bringing one unit home to test it out, opening the boxes carefully in case we wanted to return it. But to our surprise, all 5 of us really liked it. So now we have this mixed situation in our living room. The old smaller sofa will go to Maya. It has a perfect size for her student apartment, and we will probably donate a bigger one. Now we just need to find the right time to go back to IKEA and get the larger piece to complete the new living room setup. And these are definitely exciting changes in our cozy nest. There is something about rainy days that makes home feel even more inviting. I tend to slow down, enjoy the warmth inside, and lean into the comfort of simple routines. This kind of weather always makes me want to nest, and today I'm starting with refilling some pantry jars. But first, I make sure I have enough coffee to keep me company while I enjoy the simplest household tasks. I usually use various types of bread wheat in my sourdough baking, keeping some in the freezer and some in the pantry. I think it will be much more convenient for me to keep the whole wheat bread flour in the dry pantry, so I emptied one of those big jars to make room for it. You can find a link to a full tutorial of how I make my sourdough bread from start to finish in the description box below. This pantry is one of the best things in our kitchen. I set up a glass jar pantry in one of our kitchen cabinets a few years ago, just before COVID entered our lives. It has been a game changer for us. It simplifies both our cooking from scratch routines and our clean eating journey. Next up is this sugar we use. I'm not an expert, but there's plenty of information out there about it. It's a more natural option that doesn't cause a big insulin spike, which is exactly what I'm looking for in my menopausal journey. Ceylon ground cinnamon is a favorite spice in our kitchen, both sticks and powder. I always add some to my coffee, and I also like to keep a thermos of hot cinnamon tea on the kitchen counter, especially during winter. The sauerkraut I made with you a few weeks ago is ready, and the good bacteria are now well developed. I'm transferring it into small jars for daily use and setting aside one for Maya and one for my mother-in-law. They both really like it. And as I transfer the sauerkraut into the jars, the news here in my beloved country grows more complicated and sad. I turn on a podcast that I've been wanting to listen to. I try to stay away from news during the day and focus on my simple daily life routine, being busy nesting. Maybe it's a bit of escapism, or perhaps I'm living in my own little imaginary world. It's hard to describe, but I think it's my own way to survive mentally in a way.
So let's love it and let's learn together how to optimize it. But the big innovation, Stephen, for 2025 in psychiatry. And nobody gets to tell you what's causing an ulcer, grief, from, and a lot of people don't understand. And other, I've seen this amazing
Maya, our eldest, lives in a shared student apartment, and she usually comes over every week for our Friday evening dinner. I usually like to prepare a few things that she can take back with her. She's currently in the end of semester tests, and I hope this herbal tea jar that I make for her will support those extra study hours. I also tidy up a few tea boxes here. This cabinet holds a collection of boxes I've gathered over the years. I stopped buying them, but I still love it. It mostly contains various tea and tea-related items, and it's a lovely part of our kitchen decor filled with good memories. It's a bit dark and pretty cold. I'm wearing a thermal layer under my sweater, but I feel like lighting a candle to cozy up before moving on to the next task. I'm making something eggy for lunch. I'm not sure whether to call it frittata or pie, but it's mostly made out of eggs with whatever I have in the fridge or feel like adding to the mixture.
Consequences. And then, when they're in the same town, they go.
I had some cooked cauliflower leftovers in the fridge, so I mashed it and added it to the eggs along with 2 cubes of those veggie bouillons I made on the previous vlog. And these bouillons are freshly made. Eyal and I made them using all the leafy greens we took out of the beef bone broth we prepared last weekend. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, about a tablespoon of baking soda, and a fat tablespoon of pumpkin seeds flour, salt, and some sort of grinds. Sometimes I have chicken grinds, but today I'm adding pork grinds. And I always forget something. Today it's the psyllium. So I'm adding about a tablespoon of psyllium to the mixture. Okay, we have a little unexpected problem. The cubes are still frozen, so I think they will need some more time to defrost. And while the mixture is defrosting until it's ready to be mixed and baked, I will move on to some other things I planned for today. I'm heading to my craft room to make some progress on a new pattern I've been working on. And you can clearly hear my dryer in the background. Always starting with some hand cream and moisturizing my dry lips. Thank you so much, by the way, for all the lovely supportive comments you left on my previous vlog. This week I'm doing much better on my new designs. The mixture is finally ready to go. At the last minute, typically me, I decide to add some heavy cream to fluff it up a bit. And that's just how I cook. I always decide as I go. And I think for the next time I will add more of these veggie bouillons if I don't have any fresh veggies to go into the mixture. And now it goes into a preheated oven for about half an hour. It's on 180 Celsius degrees. I'm taking my dessert back with me to my craft room to support me while editing this vlog. I'm learning a new editing software. Picking up a new skill feels great, but it comes with some frustrations. There's still a lot of learning, but also a lot of satisfaction in the process. And now it's finally the time for some golden hour knitting, checking out my spot on the new sofa. I'm having so much fun knitting these Scrappy socks. It is the perfect lift me up kind of project. It's a very cold evening here, pretty cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we decided to go on our daily walk anyway, and we enjoy it. שלוש, ארבע, ו...
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
As the days went by, my Scrappy socks kept growing, and at the same time, the liquid in my apple cider vinegar became thicker with fewer and fewer bubbles on the surface. I think this is the stage where the mother starts to form. And every morning I enjoyed knitting those scrappy, cheerful socks with the first coffee of the day. This project kept me grounded, helping me carry on. As the news here became more and more complicated and sad, the scrappy, cheerful stripes became longer and longer. When the weekend arrived, the sun came out again, and this rainy week comes to an end. As I enjoy soaking some sun after spending long days indoors, I'm taking the flowers off the basil plant so they don't take too much of its growth energy. And the busy bees kept on working their magic on the Moran's tiny flowers, as if they want to remind us that Mother Nature's cycles are stronger than any war. I'm grateful for these slow, cozy days at home, finding warmth in my simple homemaking routines. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a cozy week too.